Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to Watch Mojo. Today we are talking about my top 10 most hated home products. This is a summation. Is that a word? Summation of the top 10 things that I just can't stand in interior design, and that's what we're gonna talk about. I have done different trends and things, but I thought I would sum it up in just a straight up top 10 of the things that I don't particularly like. They're not necessarily trendy, they're just things I don't care for. Some of these are rooted in good design principles, or bad design principles in this case, and some of these are just because I don't like them, and I'm just making it up as I go. So let's get going. Okay, first up on my list is going to be glass tables. I don't like glass tables. I don't like glass dining tables. I don't like glass coffee tables. I don't like glass side tables. I don't like glass end tables. I don't like any of the tables. I don't like any of them in glass. I just don't think glass is a good material choice. I don't like them in patio furniture. I could keep going. The point is, though, is that glass is not a great material, I think, for building your tables or different furniture pieces out of. In my opinion, glass is great. As I've said before, I love them in windows. I love glass in windows. I think it's a great material for windows. I don't think it's great for tables. And the main reason is fingerprints. I can't stand the fingerprints that you get on glass tables. You're gonna be sitting there Windexing that sucker every single day, and it's incredibly annoying. They are just fingerprint magnets. They are also incredibly dirty. They show dust and dirt super easily. They never, in my opinion, always look really clean. So you're just constantly having to clean them, and they're completely impractical. I also don't think in the case of a dining table, who wants to look through a glass table and just stare at somebody's crotch while they're eating the dinner? You know what I mean? That's not really great necessarily, I think, for the dinner table or appropriate. So I don't think it's really a good material choice for that reason either. Hard to clean, annoying, plus they never really look good. It's like a ghost chair. I don't like ghost chairs either, like plastic chairs, because I just think they really lack a lot of presence, and it's just such a missed opportunity to use a more luxurious, or doesn't even have to be more expensive necessarily, material choice, which to me would be something like wood or stone would always be a much better choice in my opinion than glass. Now I know that these sometimes tend to be cheap, but usually if cost is a concern, something like a wood veneer is going to be a better choice in my opinion. Yes, solid wood is going to be more superior, of course, than wood veneer. We'll talk about wood veneer in a second, but I would say though that it's still going to be better than glass. I think that, go to IKEA, get a dining table in a wood veneer in an oak or a walnut or something, beautiful, fabulous, wonderful. These cheapo glass coffee tables, usually accompanied by some sort of chrome finish or something, with the chrome table legs, you know what I'm talking about. They're never a good idea in my opinion. I can't stand these. I'm super over them. Again, they're not super trendy or not, they're just not good. That's my personal opinion. Okay, next up is gonna be wood and marble effect case goods. Okay, so case goods, of course, is gonna be things like, your media consoles, your whatever, any of your sort of usually wood pieces that you might have in your home. Sometimes these can be sort of a wood or marble effect. So let's talk about kind of the three levels, if you will, which I was just kind of talking about a second ago, but bears repeating. We've got the effect on one side, then you've got a veneer, and then you've got solid wood. Now, there's of course different quality varieties from within those, but those are kind of the three areas you're looking at. Solid wood is just that. It's gonna be solid wood. Now, it might vary by species. It might be oak, might be walnut, might be pine, might be whatever, but it's a solid wood piece. Then you've got veneer, which is where you've got usually some sort of MDF or particle board or whatever, and then you've got some a real actual layer of wood or stone sort of sitting over top of something, wood in this case, and then you've got effect, which is really just a printed version of the design. So you're kind of faking that it's a piece of wood and there's no actual wood there. It's not, the wood grain is completely manufactured and printed onto a piece of MDF or something. I don't really like these wood or stone, because you do get a lot of fake stone and countertops and stuff. I don't really love these because I think that the reality is that they're always gonna look fake. I personally think that getting something thrifted, getting something, from Facebook Marketplace or something in a solid wood or a veneer, especially if it's a veneer that's been taken care of, is always going to be a better choice than something like a sort of laminate or some sort of effect, right? So you see this a lot from IKEA. IKEA actually has all three. I did a video once called Solid Wood Furniture from IKEA, and I listed most, if not all, of IKEA's solid wood stuff. They do have a lot of solid wood stuff there, but oftentimes they'll go with veneer to save on price, but they do have a lot of effect stuff as well. I just think it never looks good. It always looks cheap, and it looks very disposable because it is. And, especially the marble stuff, it's really really difficult to fake the real thing with an effect. It's really difficult to print something manufactured that's gonna kind of look like it came from nature. You know what I mean? Never looks real. At least with the veneer, you're saving on cost because you got that, you know, the MDF in there, but at least you're gonna get sort of the realness that comes from that that sort of top layer. Quality of veneers oftentimes are dependent on how thick or thin that sort of veneer layer is. So obviously, you know, the more wood that they're gonna be using, the more expensive it is, but I would much rather that choice than going with the effect. I just don't like these. Okay, and then moving kind of in the same category here, although I do like veneer, I'm also gonna say what I really don't like is exterior stone veneer. So we're getting into architecture for a little bit, and I know what you're thinking, Nick, you don't know anything about architecture. Correct, I do not, but here we are anyway, we're gonna talk about it because I still have opinions, as uninformed as they may be. Here's my thing with exterior stone veneer. You're seeing this all over sort of suburban new builds that have been happening lately, and I just don't think it's a great choice. And you're like, oh, I have this on my house, that sucks because I just put it in, and now you got this guy who's telling you it's crappy. Listen, it's fine if you have it, whatever. But my problem is that these veneers, which is really just sort of like a very sort of thin, like a veneer that we were just talking about with furniture, but sort of could be, you know, slate, or it could be some sort of brick or something, some sort of stone, but it's not actually used really in the construction of the material of the home, but is instead sort of just this sort of layer, this very thin layer that's applied over top. The reason I don't like it is because oftentimes it's not really rooted in sort of the actual building methods that you would use even if you weren't using a veneer. So if you were to design, sort of create a brick home, like something that's, you know, 100 years old or something, depending on where you live, you might use brick, you might not, depending on climate and what have you. If you live in an area, so I'm thinking like the Northeast United States, Eastern Canada, right? Of course, obviously in Europe, like lots of these places are constructed with brick. Brick is very heavy, and so oftentimes it is going to make sense to use brick sort of in those lower levels as a construction material, because that would make sense on how they build homes, right? That it's real because that's how they actually built the homes. Nowadays, what you see in the suburbs is sort of these haphazard sort of columns and roundabout little sort of areas, usually mixed into some sort of hardy plank or hardy board sort of situation going on here, which is sort of like a composite that we use on the side of people's homes. And then they've got this sort of random zhuzh of these veneers sort of sitting over top. Do you see how I did that? Like it's like a little flare of a veneer, and it's supposed to be really fun. I don't really like these. I think they look super tacked on. They don't even make sense to even mimic that construction method that I was talking about earlier. And so for that reason, because it doesn't really sort of respect how homes were traditionally made, I don't necessarily mind veneers, but it doesn't actually sort of make sense in the context of how one would actually build a home. They're just sort of haphazard little chunks that people throw on, and then they've got these little like slate moments or brick moments on their home, and I don't really care for them for that reason. Okay, next up on my list is gonna be popcorn ceiling. I hate popcorn ceilings, and I actually just bought a new house. I'm here for now, still obviously living in this home, but I'll be moving there, and my new home, which I'm not doing a ton to right away, has popcorn ceilings, and I'm very upset about it. I get it, they're cheap. I think it's really easy for builders to basically just spray on popcorn ceiling. It hides a lot of the imperfections, which usually means that it probably wasn't done properly in the ceiling, and that's oftentimes I think why they are so popular. They've really gone out of fashion because they're not really great, and I really don't like them. They always look dirty. It's not a fun texture. It kind of, I don't know, it just looks like your ceiling has acne. I don't really know, you know what I mean? Like it's not a good look. And it's a dust collector. They always look like if someone smokes in the apartment or ever has, just dust in general, it's really difficult to clean them. And so they always sort of accumulate spider webs and smoke and all sorts of things in there. Never looks really particularly clean as you're gonna get from something like a beautiful flat ceiling. Now, a flat ceiling, of course, is gonna be more difficult for someone to do. So they're oftentimes gonna be more expensive because you have to make sure that they're really flat and level. And you're probably gonna be something like a matte paint up there in order to be able to really sort of cover some of those imperfections. So there are ways you can do it without resorting to popcorn ceiling, but popcorn ceiling is still very popular and I really don't like it. Catches dust, catches dirt, and is incredibly unattractive. It also just tends to draw your eye upwards rather than necessarily feeling like your space is sort of a little bit more airy and flowy, which is generally sort of what I would be looking for. It just sort of it draws your attention upward in a way that's not good. And I don't like them because it's a whole process to get rid of it. You can DIY, but don't make sure you're an expert. You need the mask, you need the whole thing, because there could be asbestos in there, so you gotta be really careful with it, or you have to pay somebody in order to be able to remove it, and it's messy, and it's just, I just hate them, and I just wish people would never do popcorn ceilings again. I wish they never happened, is what I'm saying. Okay, Okay, next thing, interior design product, home thing that I can't stand is just gonna be boring light fixtures. In the spirit of popcorn ceiling, boring light fixtures are also in the same category. It's such a missed opportunity to do a beautiful light fixture. Now again, what is a beautiful light fixture? That's up to you. Do you know what I mean? Like if you like something geometric, if you like something in a linen shade, if you like something brass, if you like something black, if you like something a little bit farmhousey or industrial, like you make it work for your style and what really, really makes sense for you. I can understand that and respect it, even if I don't like it and make fun of it on this channel, that's fine. But boring? Like, don't go for boring, you know? Like, get something a little bit interesting. Now, if you are looking at pendants over a kitchen island or a peninsula, if you're looking over a dining table, if you're really bougie and you put it over a bathtub or something or whatever, you know, people do that. If you want like a big fancy chandelier in your hallway or something, I mean, all those are great opportunities to do something really special and really bold and really interesting. But don't forget that there's also a great opportunity with your other lighting fixtures, you know, to replace some of the boob lights, which I have ad nauseum talked about on this channel. Let's be honest, I'm even sick of talking about it. You must be sick of hearing about them. So yes, replace the boob lights, right? Like all those really basic, boring light fixtures, absolutely swap them out for something a little bit more interesting. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money here. There's some great ones from Amazon, great ones from Wayfair, great ones from IKEA. Like IKEA's got some really good ones too. Some flush mounts, semi-flush mounts. Like there's lots of different ways that you can sort of update your lighting fixtures. And they also are just such a great opportunity to have fun because they literally light up. Like they literally light up. So everybody can see them, right? They draw your attention because they're lights and they do all the work for you to be able to become a feature in your home. So you really want to pay attention to your lighting. So again, make it fit your style. That's fine. There's some flexibility there for making something work for you. I don't judge. Well, I do, but I don't judge. But don't get settled for boring. Okay, next on my top 10 most hated. This is my most hated of the hated, you guys. And that is going to be carpeted bathrooms, right? Carpeted bathrooms are a bad idea. And thankfully, I think we've all collectively realized that, which is good. So they're not super trendy, they're not super popular. I'm not saying that they're like everywhere right now and people are putting this into their modern homes. I'm sure there's some people out there that are nuts and are doing it, and that's fine. But for the most part, I think we've left these in the history books, and for good reason. But as is the case with modern farmhouse coming back, you never know. You never know what's gonna come back again, right? So we gotta be vigilant is what I'm saying. So yes, carpeted bathrooms are maybe not people's first choice these days, but don't think they can't come back. You just never know. There's gonna be some designers that are gonna be like, let's just bring them back again. They're not a good idea, and that's mostly because it's the bathroom, and bathrooms are a place where cleanliness is really, really important for obvious reasons. Hygiene, people, hygiene. And so for that reason, carpet is not the appropriate material choice for that. And that is a non-negotiable. That is not like your mileage may vary, feel free to make it your own, like I said with lighting fixtures. No, don't make it your own. Do it the way that I told you to do it. Do not put carpet in your bathroom. It's not a good idea. It's an impractical material choice that is just not appropriate for that setting. For smell reasons, I don't know where I went with smell right away, but they're unsightly, they're unhygienic. Yeah, maybe for smell reasons, I can't be sure. You know what I mean? Just get rid of them as well. Just rip them out. Just stop the video and rip it out if you still got it in your just don't waste any time at all. Just get them out of there. Okay, next up on my list, this is a signature one for me, so you had to know I was gonna make it, and that's word art. It's been a while since I made fun of word art, but again, these styles come back in, so I gotta be vigilant. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're like, but no one's doing this anymore. Yeah, you've been spending too much time on my channel and not enough time on other people's channels and other people's Instagram accounts because they are still doing them. If you go into any open house, like, I don't care, you will see the word art is still a thing. You will still open a laundry room and some developer or some stylist has gone in there and put wash over top of the washing machine, okay? It's still happening. They still put kitchen or grandma's cookie recipe that you clearly got from Home Goods, so it's not your actual grandma's cookie recipe, but some metal sign that they've shoved onto the wall, right? So this really isn't, I wouldn't say it's not art, because everything can be art. This YouTube video is art, everything's art, but word art's bad art. And I think that's why, because that's why I don't like it. There's no meaning, we don't need to label things, we don't need to put the recipes up, we don't need to tell people what room they're in. They know it's the kitchen. We know it's the kitchen because that's where the fridge is, right? We know where the kitchen, that's where the oven is. We don't need the big sign that says kitchen. I think that this stuff is really stupid, and I think we just need to kind of get rid of it. Now, if your art, here we go, if your art, which is actually kind of art, like it has some sort of artistic merit that might mean something to you, great, love that. If there's words in it, that's okay. But if the whole point is just the words, that's not great. That's what I think, because it's very generic, it's very live, laugh, love, And I think we're really tired of it. And now you're like, oh, but Nick, it's so over, no one's doing this anymore. Yes, they are. So, you know, constant vigilance, people. Okay, next up on my list is going to be vertical blinds. I think there are so many good window treatments that are out there. Vertical blinds just aren't one of them. I have had so many vertical blinds in apartments that I have rented in the past that I was not able to take down because, well, maybe I was able to. I don't know. Like, I probably should have, but they kept up. They were up there for too long and I hated them. Not only are they really annoying to use and really annoying to block out any actual light, like they don't do anything. They don't do anything. They will not block out anything, I guarantee you. And they are so dirty and so annoying to clean. No one actually really cleans these things. I'm not sure you could throw them in the washing machine, but like, feel free to check that out and give that a Google when you're done this video, because I'm not sure, but they probably should be like clean. Take them to the dry cleaners maybe once a year or something, I don't know. Vacuum them at least, because these things are so dirty and you don't even really notice them until you actually really take the time to like look at how gross they are. Now I know that there's like plastic blinds that are out there and there's like different shades and stuff, and those also require that you sort of launder them, but these vertical blinds are incredibly annoying and just real like dust collectors. They just sit there gently swaying in the breeze, annoyingly so. They're not attractive, they're not good, they're so builder, and they don't actually really do anything. They just sit there and they don't block any actual light. I find them incredibly irritating. Get rid of them and have nothing on there is better. Nothing is better than these. I feel confident saying that. Nothing, no window treatment is better than vertical blinds, in my opinion. Okay, and next up on my list is gonna be matching furniture sets, right? So matching furniture sets, these happen in the living room and they happen in the bedroom. You know, there was a time when it was sort of seen that if you had like a classy put together room, you had a furniture set, and like the mismatch stuff was seen as like not as cool. Those times were the 90s. Now we think differently, I think. I think it's important when you're doing your bedroom set or your living room set, I think it's important to choose pieces that are related to each other, that sort of speak the same design language. I'll put some examples, sort of little collages here so you can see. Do you know how like they speak the same language, they maybe are similar in color, similar in shape, similar in design style, maybe there's some textural, you know, similarities there, but in some way they feel related, but they're different enough that they're sort of complementary. So the space feels cohesive, but it also feels interesting. The problem with furniture sets is that they're incredibly matchy-matchy and they're not varied in their approach because everything is the exact same. So having the same couch with the same side chair and the other side chair, and maybe even you match the window treatments, oof. So you match your window treatments to the same fabric as the couch, that's a choice, right? Like having all those things super matchy-matchy doesn't feel interesting, it doesn't feel varied, and it feels repetitive, but not in a good way. You're looking for sort of that rhythm that comes from similarities in sort of, again, that style or that shape or color or whatever. So you're sort of creating a cohesive look in a space without necessarily doing copy-paste jobs all over the place. This is true for the bedroom where you've got your chest of drawers and it's the same as your nightstands and it's the same as your bed and it's the same as the old wardrobe and like everything is the exact same wood and the exact same everything. It's very Ashley furniture. I understand they've been, you know, from the seller's point of view, they love it because instead of selling you a bed, they end up selling you 6 different pieces. So obviously it's been pumped up by the retailers for many, many decades because they love selling these furniture sets, of course. I just think they don't look particularly interesting and varied and just super copy paste. Now, they're not as popular now as they once were, but there's a lot of people that are still buying them and that's why it made my list. This is one of the top 10 things that really annoys me. It doesn't create your space that feels really varied and interesting at all, and that's why I think these need to go. Okay, and then number 10 on my list is going to be themed rooms. So let's talk about concepts instead of necessarily like themes. I think it's important for people to sort of think like, what is the mood that I'm trying to create in this space? Not necessarily what's my theme for this space. You know what I mean? Like if your theme is Disney, if your theme is beach, if your theme is whatever, I don't think you need to choose things that are always so on the nose to your theme. I think it's important to have sort of a well-rounded mood sort of in mind, that you've got maybe like, okay, I kind of want to think of what I want to feel when I'm in this space. That's fine. I want to create a concept centered around that, right? So instead of choosing a beach theme, which might involve really on the nose things like seashells and a big giant anchor over top of your over top of your media console or something, right? Or you've got a bathroom with like the little soap dish and you've got the like seahorses and you've got maybe a flounder from Little Mermaid or something in the corner. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're doing all that, it just feels very themey. Well, I think if you were to say, I want to have a feel that sort of makes me feel like I'm kind of at the beach, or something a little bit more coastal, you might instead reach for fabrics like linen, or you might see materials like jute that sort of kind of mimic and sort of resemble what sand would feel like, instead of putting actual sand in your home. Do you know what I mean? I did a video ages ago on themed rooms, and I think it was a pretty good one, even if a lot of people, I don't think people really watched it, but that's okay. Not all my videos are winners, let's be honest, but like, feel free to check that one out. And I think I really touched on that there, when it was, you know, understanding your concept and what you're trying to do to the space, choosing materials and shapes and colors and things that sort of reflect the mood and that concept in general, but it's not so on the nose as what you're gonna get from something like a theme. So to me, I can't stand it when people have a theme, because I just think, and they're usually really proud of them, which makes it really awkward for me when I go to your house, because I'm like, oh my God, yes, your bathroom that is Little Mermaid themed is amazing, obviously. And then I have to pretend like I like it, which I'm really good at usually when if you meet me in person, like I'm really actually good at pretending, but regardless, I don't want to have to pretend. So stop doing it in your home, and just like, you know, careful, tasteful nods is what we're pointing to here, as opposed to so in your face theme. So that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really liked this video. That was my top 10 most hated home products, interior design thingies of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link here to the theme videos. If you made it this far in the video and you like that point and you want to really like expand on the subject, go check out that video. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks, bye.